Hey, now we are out here at the hunting shack and just kind of taking a look at the playhouse I built a couple years ago for the first time since we've been up here. And looks like the kids need to clean this out a little bit. Maybe get some broom action going on here. But I was thinking I have some pallets I want to play around with. So I might build, well, I'm going to build an extension coming off of this here. Kind of like an observation tower or something fun like that. With the ladder, they'll be able to climb up and stand on it and play around and whatnot. So I need to just move a couple of things out of the way here and we can take a look at some materials. So I still have 8 pallets left after I built another pallet bench chair the other day. Bench chair, is that a thing? Well, it is now. So I'm going to use probably, I don't know, at least 4 of these, I think, for what I'm going to do. This first pallet, this top pallet here, is going to be the floor of this observation tower. But because the kids are still small and I don't want them to be able to trip in here, I need to pop up a couple of these boards. I want it to be boards all the way across with no gaps. So I'm going to wind up using probably one of like this pallet here that I don't really like as much. And use some of these boards in order to fill in these gaps. But for that, I'm going to have to do a little bit of measuring, like pop up, I don't know, we'll see. Pop up some of these boards, fill the gaps, get them all screwed back on. We'll be good to go. Now for prying up these boards, I found a really good thing to use is just one of these crowbars here. Really like this one. It's nice and, well, it's a Fat Max, so it's really nice and wide. Which really kind of helps prevent these boards from splitting as much as they might otherwise. So just hammering in between here and then prying it up. Trying to be gentle so as to not split anything. Coming from both sides, sort of equally. Come here to the far end. And I think I'm going to be in luck that some of these skinnier boards on this pallet are going to work for just one of the gaps in that other pallet. If I can make that work, then I'll have less prying to do, which would be nice. Beauty. Now, let's check this out. See if I'm in luck. So close. That makes me cry. I wonder. Yeah, you know what? I might be able to kind of tap around here and see if I can make that fit. First though, I'm going to get rid of these nails. One of the unfortunate things with these pallets, with a lot of them, is that the nails are really kind of subpar, and well, I might be able to reuse them. A lot of the times they'll bend when you try to get the boards on again. Oh, yeah, that's gonna work. All right, so I'll see if I can't get these nails to work. But if they don't, then I'll just replace them with screws. This is gonna be tough because it's bent. Yeah, screw it. Only on video. No. Yeah, that one's just too weak. This one for sure will be. So, I've just got some. The shortest screws I have here with me today are 1 3/4 inches. So we'll just use some of these here to secure this. Just being careful as I get right into the edge of the wood, or to the surface of the wood, that I don't split it. And do a couple that far in. There we go. Tiny little bit of a lip there, but it's still a lot better than having this. So I'm just going to go through and see what I can do here, if I have any other gaps that'll fit. This last one is the only one that might actually work for that. No, I think even that one's going to be too tight. So, all right, time to pry. And sometimes with these here, if you get the first two boards free, you can just pull it up. You're guaranteed to screw up the nails so that they can't be reused, and sometimes you'll pull them straight through. But if you're planning on replacing with screws anyway, it is not a big deal. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the rest of this sorted out so we have a nice, relatively flat surface. So there we are. Some slight unevenness with, I guess, really just in a couple of spots there across here. But again, the main thing was not to have sort of a major hazard where toes or heels or something could pop into a gap and get them into trouble. So this is ready. I'm going to use the bottom pallet here as the base for this post. So I'm going to go and carry those pallets out there and then figure out the next step. All right, so I've got my base pallet over here, and I've just got it pushed up nice and tight to the existing playhouse. And this side was just a little bit lower, so I just took a couple of little chunks of some extra pallet board that I had and stuck them underneath here just to keep it level across there. So now I need to secure this to the playhouse. So this really isn't too hard, and it's just going to be done here with some of these 2.5 inch screws. The person could easily use 3-inch screws, which I would actually prefer for this. However, I don't have any, so I'm going to use what I've got. So it's really just a simple process of screwing in through this 2x4 here into the well, actually I think this is a 4x4 on the bottom of this one here. Awkward angles. There we go. some on the other side. And then I'll also try to get some through across in between these gaps here. There we go. So this is a slightly awkward angle, just because I've only got the top. It's not a full 4-inch strip running across underneath there, so I just got to go ahead and angle these up a little bit, and it'll all be good. All right, now that that's secure, and go ahead and bring over the side wall, which is going to be this pallet right here. And I'll just quickly decide which part I like best for the top half. I think maybe like this. And now I'm going to put it on top here. I could put it down here, and then have the top pallet come across like so. However, if I'm doing this right here, I'm not going to have nearly the same degree of vertical support as I will, because I'll have that top platform on here. Plus, it just gives them an extra several inches here of height, which will make it cool because it's an observation post. So that's the whole point. So now all I need to do is just screw down through into this bottom pallet. Now, as you might be able to see from there, there's actually two 2x4s stacked here. I'm not going through this top one because my 2.5-inch screws aren't long enough, so I'm finding spots where I can get through this bottom 2x4. And that's giving me the bite I need in the bottom pallet. Also going to do some on this side here, so I have screws angled in both directions. All right, yeah, that's really quite secure. I wanted to have quite a few screws in there just because it's going to be holding a lot of weight. All right, so now I've got my platform that's going to run across here, but I don't want to just run it and just try to screw it into here to secure it all on its own. I'm also going to use this 2x6 here and place it there to rest it on as well. So, let me get a quick measurement. So yeah, this is 40 inches. So we're going to run 40 inches from this side. Now, a person could use a level and go across here, but then I also realize this entire structure might not actually be level, so not really a whole lot of point in that. So we'll just do it by measurement. 40. Yep. Lots of construction going on here today. So I'm going to take this 2x6 and let's a little bit further there. Perfect. Here and here. Match it up top of those lines. You always got to make sure to push really hard. Go. Trying to put most of these screws low enough that when I go through anywhere along the top into here that I'm not going to clip them. The exception being on those ends there, but it's very unlikely that I'll hit them. So now, decision time for which end I want where. All right. There we are. And somehow deal with this really quickly here. So a few of these nails tried to come out here. So because of that, I'm going to actually pull them out. We're going to go ahead and screw that plank on. Using my 2.5-inch screws, which are longer than I need for this, but they're right here. Beautiful. All right, so now just kind of lining everything up here. Get it all square. It's time to attach this. Just before I do that, I'm going to make sure again that we're nice and flush here. Go do the other corner. Still looking good. So there, on this corner I didn't have a good angle from the top, so I went from below. I'm going to have to do the same thing for those other boards that are on the underside. Just screw up into them and that'll hold it. So with these here, what I'm doing in order to get up there is I'm actually trying to do this one-handed now. This is not easy. Starting not quite straight in, and as soon as I bite in, then I angle down and go up, and then that way it's not going to just I can't do this. That way it's not just going to skip off the wood, right? So you kind of go in a little bit straight, bite in, angle it, and then you can jam it up there. Now I'm also just going to run a few screws through here where I've got access straight through into the playhouse. Okay, so the next phase here is I've got this other pallet, and this is going to act as a base for the bottom part of the ladder. We've got children yelling at each other. So we're going to have, this is the base. Now I need to secure it to that other base pallet. I've kind of got it leveled out here already with a couple of chunks of wood, and I'll be able to secure it here just with a 2x4 that I'm going to screw in this way into this pallet, and then I can screw that into there. In the middle, these didn't line up here, so I've got this other 2x4 that I'm going to screw in a couple of spots there. And then the other nice thing is there's this weaker spot in this pallet Not that I think anybody would ever step here just because of where it's positioned, but that's also then going to be underneath here and offering some support. So I'm going to get, and then screwing in that corner there as well. So that'll take care of attaching that. All right, there we go. That's definitely attached. Now, all we need to do is get our ladder on here and then consider what we're going to do for a little banister or railing around there. Now, I'm going to have it lean up against here, and I've got something for this. However, there's nothing on this side, so I've got a little chunk of 2x4 right here that we're going to be able to use right up here. So let's attach that. All right, that's as secure as that's going to be. So the ladder is going to be here. And I want it at an angle because of the age of the children. I think that's the safest move. And something like this. There we go. And so now it's going to, can you see that? It's really bright out here. It's going to dig into there, and that's going to hold it in place. And I am going to run some screws in, and then I can also screw it in through the top here. So let's go get that done. Just about.
Good,
now,
good.
Gonna run through here. So it's going to cut just down there. You. And while I could just rely on gravity and the fact that they'll be pushing down on this with their feet when they're climbing it, to hold that bottom relatively in place, it's always smartest to have it secured. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, you guys want to test going up the ladder?
Yes.
This whole thing isn't done yet, but now the real test. Once you're up here, let's see. Just past the tornado test. Okay, so now we need to get a little railing up here so your girls don't do something silly like fall off. So let me grab some wood for that. Well, you'll see in a sec. All right, so yeah, that's right.
I'm on the roof.
You are on the roof, or on the observation tower.
No,
So for this, I've got some. Yeah, I got some.
Dry things.
I know.
And electric things. Hey, Dad, can I measure stuff up here? What?
Star of the show. Okay, so for this railing, I just had some rough cut 2x4 here, and I cut this to 50 inches because this is actually going to let me bite into a whole lot of this, and these two are going to be the main supports for the railing. Now, I just marked off here with a pencil at 24 inches, because then that'll give me the 2 feet here of railing up above, which should work. Just gonna line that up and then make sure it matches with the edge of this.
It's up to 16.
Just like that. And time to attach. Time for another battery. And we're back with a somewhat fresh battery. Okay, so back up just how I want it.
Here, I'll hold it like this.
Perfect, thank you. Second over here. Get some more. Oh, yeah, no, hang on. Yeah, no, it's because it's a long board and it's not supported down below. It's almost kind of just in the middle, which doesn't work super well. So, again, always trying to maintain a lot of force on the board that you're attaching. All right, how secure is that? Woo! Pretty secure.
I think we need one here and here.
Well, okay.
Just to be very safe.
Since you're the boss.
Why am I have to be the boss?
Yeah, all the responsibility lies with you now.
Huh.
Think about that. There we go. We'll let out a rock. No, we'll do the same on the other side. All right, okay. So that one's actually really, well, I'll put one more screw in just because why not?
No, we're safe.
It's only money, right?
No, one more. It's extra safe. One more, please.
One more?
No, no more.
I don't want one more.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
No more.
I want one. It's going to be, say, 47.
88.
40, no, it's not 47, 88.
Nope, 88.
It's slightly.
Some
All right, so
more.
I'm going to cut one that's going to be long enough and still go an inch and a half past this, and then I'm going to be able to run my other railing into that. All right. You got a go-go dancer up there, or what? Oh. And actually, just to make sure that is the length I want, let's see quickly. Do this. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Okay, so that should be up at the top of that. Find a split every time.
Perfect.
And here again. Okay. Then I'm going to attach another board up here, and then we'll run one across. All right, so I just cut a 30-inch strip here, and I secured it up on the top there. Gonna do some cross beams, or some extra beams, just to make it less likely for them to tumble off.
Go.
Screw. All the screws. Screw. Screw. Thank you. And one more. Ah. One more. Beautiful. All right, now I'll pop on. Actually, come over here, kiddo. I just need to quickly measure off my 2 inches from the top. Or sorry, 2 feet from the top. And
Screw.
that.
Screw.
And I'll need a screw. That's correct. Actually, put it on the end there for me.
Other way.
And this one? Okay, I'll put it on.
Yeah, put it on there.
Good job.
Only goes on one way. There we go. Thank you. Truly testing the bounds. What she can do here. All right.
But I want to put
through
this
here.
one on.
Yeah, now see, of course, because this is missing a piece there, which is super handy.
Nope,
Just
I don't
eyeball
know.
level. Okay, put it on there. We're going to secure into the roof.
So you have 2.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to just do this kind of straight on, bite, and then through. Okay, and I'm going to get some more screws in here just to stabilize this, because this is kind of the weakest point right now. There we go. Now with this cross beam here, that should be good. So I'll get the measurement on this. I'll put it up. Okay, kiddo, you gotta lift that part up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Here.
Oh, no, lower it. Yeah. Gotta keep it nice and straight.
Yeah, I'll be able to angle it. Once it's on. All right, kiddo. Now, remember, push hard against me. Good job.
Now what?
And one down here. Here we are. Railing. Let's see if I have another piece maybe just to put across here.
Go.
So we also added a knotted rope to the ladder here just to make it a little bit easier if they need it. What are you doing up there now?
Looking for bears to eat. No, just to. Anderson, just eat. No, we're going to tell her Grandpa Ella.
Yeah, excellent. And then we also, I threw this other little half pallet here we use as a little bike rack. We don't have the bikes out today, but we got that up along the side. But other than that, I think this was a pretty sweet little project. Pretty indestructible, nicely attached.
Wiggly.
Pretty wiggly. You're pretty wiggly.
Okay.
There you go. So, just with some 2x4s, some pallets,
Where are you? You're in big
and some childish assistance, you too can make an observation post. So, yeah, till next time, keep it 11.